Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Space Battles, the Duel of Destiny at 0.25x speed. This is the finale of our series. It's been a long series, and we're finally at the end of it. We have a few details for this one, and I'm really excited to go through this one because this has been a really long series, and at this point I just want to be done with it and start talking about some other fan films. This has been a 5-episode series, it's long. So, we're going to begin with the Orion with this lightsaber scene. So, the thing with this lightsaber is we don't know whose it is, but it is a Jedi's from mainframe Star Wars. But what's interesting about this is that it's a white hilted, but it isn't. It's black and silver. So, that's maybe an editing detail. That's a mistake. Besides that, it's just like it should have been white. Next, we have this amazing shot. If you zoom in, though, it's interesting how this is done because you can see the lightsaber still. That's the main part of this detail. The lightsaber's still in that fog, and even though it's not circled, it's interesting how. In all that smoke, it's still just sitting there. Because it looks like the frame is changed, and that's probably a bad detail. Because it would have been cooler if it just wasn't there. Yeah, and after that, we have things like this next shot with this is a whole thing. Because you can see, there's a lantern in the back. It's an interesting shot, because there's a lantern in the back. There is these, skulls, these, figurines on the sides, and then the stone looks polished a bit, and it doesn't feel like this is how the Cavern of Munu is described in the show, and it was supposed to be a reoccurring thing. It was supposed to appear more than once, the Cavern of Munu, but this is the only time we've seen it. So it looks very polished and things, and I don't know if it would have been different because he just entered it, but it looks interesting for an eternal prison built by Munu, because it doesn't feel like Munu would have built this. It feels very manufactured by a set artist, and I know that doesn't make sense, but it doesn't feel like Darth Munu building this chamber with polished stone that's golden brown. I don't think he would even build a cavern in the first place. But, this doesn't look like him. Next, there's a skull. Literally a dead human skeleton behind a treasure. This isn't Munu. So it does talk about how Munu's first saber is in this. So, in theory, it would make sense that, that treasure is where Munu's saber was kept, but that's never confirmed. And that skull is interesting as well, because that must have been someone else falling through the cavern. Because if you learn, the Scythe never die in there. They just become reborn, a Tartarus type place. So it's interesting, because that has to be another Ben Epor. Must have fell in by accident, because that isn't something that just happens by mistake. You can't die in the Cavern of Munu. That is confirmed. So that's another interesting detail, because that there's just so many interesting details, and the skull is just interesting because of its position, and also Next is the Eye of Agamotto. Yes, so we can't actually see it in the shot, but his necklace is the Eye of Agamotto. I know that because it was confirmed offset, but this is a shot of him throwing it. You can't actually see it, but it is called the Eye of Agamotto, and it's cool, I guess, because it's pop culture reference for this episode, but it is also interesting because they did reveal they are doing something Marvel related again with Doctor Strange, so that would be interesting to see how that plays out. Next is more to do with the editing. Blue saber is longer than red saber. And that doesn't feel like an important detail, because it really isn't. But, like, it's, why is the red blue longer than red one? And it's, oh, what the hell? Beep, beep. Okay, we're back. That was just literally my voice. Yeah, the blue lightsaber is longer than the red one. I don't know why that's like that, because it's a very interesting error, because I don't think it's an error. And which makes it seem like something must have went wrong, but of course you can't really know stuff like that. Nearing up towards the end, we have Darth Munu leaning on something. And in the shot, he clearly is. Because you can see he's on something, and some falters in the editing. But what is he leaning on? Because you can see his legs are going down, so he must be leaning on something. And to figure that out, you actually have to look all the way at the credits. And you'll see that there's a lot of photos at the end. But if you look at this specific one, and you look what Bob is sitting on, it is actually a green table. That is probably what they used to key out with the green screen that he is sitting on. And that would make a lot of sense, actually. Because to have that be what he's leaning on, keying that out with the green screen, and it would make perfect sense for every single time that appears. And yeah, I think that's a very cool detail to see that, but at the same time, it's a cool detail. It isn't oh wow, that's such an amazing detail. So yeah. Next, the credits are very different for this episode. We have them popping out of a wall with this dark background with white text. So it's very interesting to see. But at the beginning, it actually says Space Battles. And this is because this is the finale of Season 1. So I think it's a cool commemorance not to have any backgrounds. It's just the film itself. And no other film's done that. And the final detail is in the credits. It has the Space Battle Season 1 cast. Mysterious Cameraman, who played Ghetto Bunty. CRG, who played Darth Munu. These are just the most notable parts. Bob, who played Ghetto Bunty. Cup, who played Ezra Mime. Jello, who played Ezra Mime. Jeff, who played Joe Dameron. Orangu, who played Ben Eport. And Gongo, who played the other shopper. And I think it's interesting that they did include Gongo, because he was literally in 2 seconds of it. I think it's nice that they gave him that commemorance. Besides that, thank you so much for watching this video. It is shorter than the other parts of this series, but there weren't as many details to do. This episode was very polished, so there weren't so many details to deal with. But besides that, thank you so much for watching, and see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.